My beloved child, stop scrolling, stop everything. Take a breath and listen, because this is not random and it is not ordinary. I am speaking to you right now, on purpose, at the exact moment your heart needed it most. I have seen the way you've been trying to move forward, while something behind you keeps calling your name. I have watched you wrestle with memories, habits, people, and places that once felt familiar, even if they were slowly destroying you. And I need you to hear me clearly, without doubt, without confusion, without negotiating with your pain. Do not go back to what I already rescued you from, not because I want to control you, but because I love you. Not because I'm trying to punish you, but because I'm trying to protect you. I didn't pull you out of the fire so you could walk back into the smoke. I didn't break chains off your hands so you could pick them up again and call them jewelry. I didn't heal you so you could return to what wounded you and pretend it's home. I know what you're thinking. You're saying, but it's comfortable. You're saying, at least I know what to expect. You're saying, maybe this time will be different. My child, comfort is not the same as peace. Familiar is not the same as safe. And different cannot happen when you keep dragging the same old darkness back into your light. I saw the night you cried and didn't tell anyone. I saw you smile in public and break in private. I saw you try to be strong while your soul felt exhausted. I heard the prayers you whispered when you thought nobody was listening. And I was listening. I was working. I was guiding. Even when you didn't feel me. Even when you questioned me. Even when your faith was hanging on by a thread. I was still there, holding what you couldn't hold, carrying what you couldn't carry, blocking what you couldn't see. And that's why I'm telling you this with urgency. The door behind you is not your destiny. The chapter you survived is not the story you're meant to repeat. The thing you escaped is not your future. It was a trap, and I broke you out of it. There are some of you listening right now, and you're standing at a crossroads. You're not back where you used to be, but you're not fully stepping into the new either. You keep looking over your shoulder. You keep replaying the old messages. You keep checking on the person who hurt you. You keep entertaining the habit that almost ruined you. You keep romanticizing the season that nearly broke you, because part of you misses who you were before life got so heavy. But I'm not calling you back to who you were. I'm calling you forward into who I created you to become. Hear me. The reason the old life is calling you is because it senses you're finally becoming free. The reason the temptation feels louder is because the enemy knows you're closer than ever to a breakthrough. The reason you feel pressure to return is because what's ahead of you is powerful, and darkness always tries to pull you backward when it knows you're about to rise. So, I'm going to say it again, and I want it to land deep in your spirit. Do not go back to what I already rescued you from. I rescued you from that relationship that slowly drained your joy. I rescued you from the cycle of begging for love, explaining your worth, shrinking yourself to be chosen. I rescued you from the confusion that made you question your own reality. I rescued you from the patterns that kept you stuck. I rescued you from the version of you that thought pain was normal. And now you're tempted to return because loneliness is trying to talk you out of obedience. My child, loneliness is a liar. You are not alone. You never were. I am with you in the quiet mornings. I am with you when you drive and your thoughts get loud. I am with you when you lay down and your mind won't rest. I am with you when you feel strong, and I am with you when you feel weak. I am closer than your next breath, and I am not letting you go. If you feel me speaking to you right now, comment 777, not for attention, but as a line in the sand, as a declaration, as a moment where you stop negotiating with what almost destroyed you, and you finally choose freedom. Because let me tell you what happens when you stop going back. When you stop going back, your healing accelerates. When you stop going back, your peace returns. When you stop going back, your confidence rebuilds. When you stop going back, your mind clears. When you stop going back, you finally have space to receive what I've been trying to place in your hands. Some of you have been praying for financial freedom, and I've heard you. You've been looking at bills, debt, and responsibilities, wondering how you'll ever breathe again. You've been trying to keep your credit score from falling apart. You've been thinking about debt relief, credit repair, a better job, a new career path, or starting that online business you keep pushing off because fear keeps whispering, "Who do you think you are? My child, you are mine, and I am your provider." But I need you to understand something. I cannot pour new wine into old, cracked, contaminated containers. If you keep returning to what drains you, you will keep leaking what I give you. If you keep running back to chaos, you will keep mismanaging your blessings. If you keep entertaining what I delivered you from, you will keep postponing the overflow. You want stability, but you keep revisiting instability. You want abundance, but you keep reopening doors that consume you. You want peace, but you keep returning to war. I'm not condemning you. I'm calling you higher. This is the season where I am teaching you holy boundaries. Not to isolate you, but to protect your destiny. Not to make you cold, but to keep you clear. Not to make you hard, but to keep you whole. And yes, it will feel uncomfortable at first, because you've been conditioned to call pain love. You've been conditioned to call anxiety normal. You've been conditioned to call inconsistency chemistry. You've been conditioned to call breadcrumbs a blessing. But I am renewing your mind. I am restoring your discernment. I am training your spirit to recognize what is from me and what is sent to delay you. The enemy will use nostalgia as a weapon. He will remind you of the good moments and hide the damage. He will show you the highlight reel and erase the heartbreak. He will make you forget how you begged me to get you out. He will make you forget the sleepless nights, the anxiety, the emptiness, the way you lost yourself trying to keep something alive that was killing you. But I remember every tear. I remember every time you asked me, "Please, God, save me." I remember the day you finally walked away. I remember the strength it took to choose yourself. I remember the courage you didn't even know you had. And I am not letting that courage be wasted. My child, there are doors I am opening for you right now that require you to stop carrying what belongs to your past. There are opportunities aligning for you that require you to be fully present. There are divine connections waiting for you, but you cannot recognize them if you keep staring at what I told you to leave. You may not see it yet, but I have been doing precision work behind the scenes. I have been moving pieces you cannot move. I have been shifting hearts you cannot change. I have been protecting you from things you begged for that would have destroyed you. That rejection you couldn't understand was mercy. That delay you hated was protection. That closed door that made you cry was me saving you from a room that would have cost you more than you knew. And now, you're in a moment where your next decision matters. Stop texting what I told you to release. Stop revisiting what I told you to bury. Stop reopening wounds I already started healing. Stop praying for new while you keep choosing old. Because there is a difference between a test and a trap. And some of you keep calling it a test, when it's the same trap I already delivered you from. Wearing a new outfit, speaking in a sweeter tone, promising you a different ending. My child, a trap always promises comfort and delivers captivity. I'm calling you into a life that feels steady, a life that feels clear, a life where you don't have to beg for respect, A life where you don't have to fight for basic love. A life where your nervous system can finally rest. A life where your heart is safe. A life where your mind is not constantly spinning in circles. And yes, I care about your practical life too. I care about your finances. I care about your health. I care about your home. I care about your future. I care about your career growth. I care about your business goals. I care about the mortgage you're trying to manage. I care about your dreams of real estate investing, building generational wealth, creating multiple income streams, and living with dignity instead of constant survival. But I need you to stop returning to what sabotages you. Some of you don't realize how much money you've lost trying to keep the wrong people close. How much time you've lost cleaning up the chaos they brought. How many opportunities you've missed because your mind was consumed by drama, addiction, toxic attachment, and endless emotional emergencies. And I'm not saying this to shame you. I'm saying it to wake you up. Because you're not weak, you're tired, you're not broken, you're healing, you're not behind. You've been fighting battles most people never see. And I am proud of you for still being here, still praying, still trying, still hoping, still showing up even when life felt heavy. But now I need you to shift from surviving into building. This is not the time to go backward. This is the time to lock in. This is the time to get focused. This is the time to stop entertaining distractions disguised as second chances. This is the time to stop confusing attention with love. This is the time to stop lowering your standards just to avoid being alone. Because I am about to restore you in ways that will leave you in awe. I'm going to restore your confidence. I'm going to restore your clarity. I'm going to restore your joy. I'm going to restore your drive. I'm going to restore your sleep. I'm going to restore your appetite for life. I'm going to restore your ability to trust again. But this time, you will trust with wisdom, not with naivety. You will love with strength, not with desperation. You will build with patience, not with panic. And when the old tries to call you, you will finally have the courage to say, no, no, I'm not going back. No, I'm not reopening that door. No, I'm not shrinking again. No, I'm not settling again. No, I'm not trading my peace for familiarity. If you're ready to say that with your whole chest, comment 777. Let that number be your agreement with heaven that you are done going backward. Now listen closely. The enemy is not after your past. He's after your future. He's not obsessed with what you were. He's terrified of what you're becoming. That's why he keeps sending distractions right when you decide to change. That's why he keeps resurfacing old feelings right when you start healing. That's why he keeps putting your name in the mouth of people who used to have access to you right when you begin to move on. Because the moment you stop going back is the moment your momentum becomes unstoppable. And I'm telling you, momentum is here. You're about to see breakthroughs that feel sudden to you, but they are not sudden to me. They are the result of every time you chose faith over fear. Every time you kept going when you wanted to quit. Every time you forgave. Every time you got back up. Every time you tried again. Every time you prayed instead of panicked. Every time you showed up, even tired. Heaven has been taking notes. And I'm releasing favor over your life that matches your obedience. If this message is hitting you right in the soul, take 1 second and hit like on this video. Not because I need it, but because it's a simple act of faith that says, I receive this, and it helps this word reach someone else who's fighting the same battle in silence. My child, you don't have to understand everything to obey me. You don't have to see the whole staircase to take the next step. You just have to trust that I am not leading you away from something good. I am leading you away from something familiar that was poisoning you. and I am leading you into something better than you've been brave enough to imagine. Some of you are grieving what you left behind, and you feel guilty for grieving. You're thinking, why do I miss it if it was bad? My child, because you invested yourself there. You invested time, energy, hope, effort. You tried. You wanted it to work. You weren't foolish for hoping. You weren't stupid for loving. You were human. But now I'm teaching you something deeper. You can honor what you learned without returning to what hurt you. You can appreciate the lesson without repeating the cycle. You can forgive and still move forward. Forgiveness doesn't mean access. Love doesn't mean tolerance. Mercy doesn't mean you keep yourself in danger. And yes, some people will call you changed when you stop letting them use you. They will call you cold when you stop begging. They will call you selfish when you start choosing peace. They will call you distant when you stop entertaining confusion. Let them talk. I am the one who knows your heart. I am the one who knows what you survived. I am the one who knows what I rescued you from. And I am the one who is leading you into a season of elevation. You're going to look back one day and realize the thing you wanted to return to was the very thing delaying your destiny. And you're going to thank me for the strength to let it go. Now let me speak to your relationships. Some of you have been praying for restoration, but you've been trying to restore what I'm trying to remove. You've been trying to hold together what was never built on truth. You've been trying to rescue people who refuse to change. You've been trying to fix what they keep breaking. My child, you are not a rehabilitation center for people who refuse healing. I can restore what is mine. I can revive what is aligned. I can heal what is surrendered. But I will not force someone into wholeness when they are committed to dysfunction. So here is your instruction. Stop chasing what I did not assign. Stop chasing that text. Stop chasing that apology. Stop chasing that closure. Stop chasing that validation. Stop chasing that version of them that only exists in your imagination. I am your validation. I am your closure. I am your peace. And the right relationships, the ones I ordained, will not require you to betray yourself to be loved. The right doors will not require you to shrink. The right people will not punish you for having boundaries. The right opportunities will not demand you abandon your values. And the right path will not keep you in constant confusion. Confusion is not my voice. Peace is. So, if the thought of returning brings anxiety, dread, and heaviness, that is your confirmation. If the thought of going forward brings fear but also a quiet sense of relief, that is your confirmation too. Sometimes obedience feels scary at first, not because it's wrong, but because it's unfamiliar. But you will get used to peace. You will get used to being treated well. You will get used to not having to beg. You will get used to not living in survival mode. And once you taste that kind of peace, you will never again want to go back. Now let me speak to your health and your mind. I see what stress has done to you. I see the tension in your body. I see the way your shoulders carry burdens you were never meant to carry. I see the way anxiety has tried to steal your breath. I see the way overthinking has robbed you of sleep. I see the way depression has tried to silence your hope. But I am your healer, and healing is happening, even if it's not loud. Healing is happening when you choose rest. Healing is happening when you stop replaying conversations that already ended. Healing is happening when you stop stalking the past. Healing is happening when you drink water, when you take the walk, when you breathe deep, when you pray honestly, when you speak kindly to yourself. Healing is happening when you stop going back. Because some of you don't just go back physically, you go back mentally, you go back emotionally, you go back in your imagination. You re-enter old rooms in your mind and sit in old pain like it's a chair. My child, that is not your home anymore. I have new territory for you. I have new strength for you. I have new confidence for you. I have new assignments for you. And yes, I have new provision for you. There are ideas I'm going to give you that will change your income. There are skills I'm going to sharpen that will open doors. There are conversations I'm going to arrange that will shift your career. There are contracts, clients, promotions, and opportunities coming that will make you say, "Only God could have done this." But you must stay forward-facing. You must stop looking back like Lot's wife, freezing yourself in yesterday. I didn't bring you this far to bring you this far. I brought you this far to take you all the way. So I'm asking you, with love and with power, choose the future I'm offering you over the past that already proved it couldn't hold you. Choose the quiet, steady life over the loud, chaotic one. Choose the long-term blessing over the short-term comfort. Choose discipline over distraction. Choose purpose over people-pleasing. Choose me. And if you want to keep receiving messages like this that strengthen your spirit and rebuild your life, subscribe to this channel right now. Join this family of faith. Let every video be a reminder that you are not alone and you are not done. Because I am not done with you. There is more in you. There is more for you. There is more ahead of you. And the reason the enemy keeps trying to pull you backward is because he knows you're close to the moment where everything changes. You're close to the phone call that answers a prayer. You're close to the email that opens a door. You're close to the opportunity that feels too good to be true. You're close to the breakthrough that makes your tears make sense. You're close to the peace that finally feels permanent. But you will not step into it if you keep turning around to entertain what I already delivered you from. So today, you make a decision, not an emotional decision, not a temporary decision, not a decision based on loneliness or fear. A holy decision, a final decision. You decide that your peace is not for sale. You decide that your healing is not negotiable. You decide that your destiny is worth protecting. You decide that your future is worth the discomfort of change. And when the old knocks, you don't answer. When the old calls, you don't pick up. When the old tries to seduce you with familiar pain, you remember the rescue. You remember the miracle. You remember the nights you begged me to free you. And you say, "God, I'm staying free." Comment 777 one more time if you're ready to stay free. If you're ready to stop going back. If you're ready to step fully into the life I've been preparing for you. Because I am with you. I am guiding you. I am strengthening you. I am opening doors no one can shut. And I am closing doors you are too emotionally attached to close yourself. Do not be afraid of what I remove. Be grateful for what I reveal. Do not mourn what ends when I am the one ending it. Do not chase what I'm pulling you away from. You are being upgraded. You are being protected. You are being redirected. And you are about to see the kind of blessing that only comes when you finally stop going back. Stay forward, my child. Stay focused. Stay faithful. Your breakthrough is ahead, not behind. And I will finish what I started in you. But you have to understand what finish looks like in my hands. It doesn't always look like comfort. It doesn't always feel like instant relief. Sometimes it looks like separation. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like you standing alone for a moment, not because I abandoned you, but because I'm teaching you how to stand without leaning on what was never stable. There are people who loved the version of you that kept saying yes while dying inside. They loved your availability. They loved your forgiveness when it had no boundaries. They loved your generosity when it came with self-neglect. And when you started healing, they started feeling exposed, because your growth highlights their lack of change. So don't be surprised when you outgrow rooms that once felt like family. Don't be surprised when certain conversations feel small now. Don't be surprised when your spirit gets restless around what used to entertain you. That's not you being too much. That's you becoming aligned. And alignment will always feel like distance from anything that thrives on your confusion. Let me talk to you about the ache you feel when you choose the right thing and it still feels hard. That ache is not failure. That ache is detox. That ache is your soul learning a new language. You lived so long with chaos that peace feels unfamiliar, and unfamiliar can feel empty at first. But that emptiness is sacred space. It's space for wisdom, space for strategy, space for clarity, space for the kind of love that doesn't come with anxiety, space for the kind of opportunities that don't require you to compromise, space for the version of you that doesn't panic when something ends, because you finally trust that I can build again. Some of you are still holding on because you think letting go means you wasted time. Listen to me. Nothing in your life was wasted if it taught you how to discern. Nothing was wasted if it matured you. Nothing was wasted if it revealed what you will never tolerate again. I can redeem every season you thought was lost. I can turn lessons into leverage. I can turn pain into power. I can turn what tried to embarrass you into evidence that I carried you through. But you have to stop measuring your future with the ruler of your past. You keep asking me to show you the whole plan, but the truth is, you wouldn't even need faith if you had the whole plan. You would call it control. And control is the counterfeit comfort that keeps you trapped. Faith is the doorway into the life you can't build with your own hands. So, when I tell you to move, I'm not asking you to be reckless. I'm asking you to be obedient. Obedience is not emotional. Obedience is intentional. Obedience is choosing the right thing when your feelings beg you to choose the familiar thing. And right now, your feelings are loud because they are afraid of change. Your feelings are loud because they are used to the old pattern. Your feelings are loud because your nervous system learned survival, and survival hates uncertainty. But I am not building your life on your feelings. I am building your life on truth. And the truth is this: you can't keep reopening what I closed and still expect to walk into what I prepared. You're in a season of pruning. Pruning doesn't look pretty. It doesn't feel gentle, but it is proof that you're growing. A gardener doesn't prune dead trees. A gardener prunes living ones because there is more fruit coming, and what's coming needs room. So yes, I am cutting off distractions. Yes, I am removing certain people. Yes, I am drying up certain sources of attention. Yes, I am making it harder for you to access what once gave you quick comfort, because I'm not interested in your quick comfort if it costs you long-term wholeness. And if you're honest, you already know the difference. You already know who brings peace and who brings chaos. You already know what builds you and what breaks you. You already know what pulls you forward and what drains your energy like a slow leak. You don't need another sign. You need the courage to act on what I already revealed. Some of you keep hoping a person will finally become who they promised you they were. But hope without boundaries becomes self-betrayal. I did not design you to be a holding place for someone else's potential. I designed you to be a living, breathing vessel of purpose. So stop attaching your destiny to someone else's decisions. Stop putting your future on layaway because they can't make up their mind. Stop delaying your growth because you're waiting for an apology that may never come. Closure is not something you always receive. Sometimes closure is something you decide. And I am giving you the strength to decide. Now let me speak to the part of you that's afraid you'll miss out if you don't go back. You're afraid that if you don't respond, you'll lose them forever. You're afraid that if you don't return, you'll be alone. You're afraid that if you don't compromise, you'll never have love again. My child, that fear is not prophecy. That fear is a memory trying to masquerade as wisdom. You are not going to miss out by obeying me. You are going to miss out by disobeying me, because what I have for you is not fragile. What I have for you will not require you to chase it. What I have for you will not be taken from you by one decision to do what's right. The right things in your life will not demand you abandon your standards. The right people in your life will not punish you for taking care of yourself. The right opportunities in your life will not come with a constant knot in your stomach. That knot has been your alarm system for a long time, and you ignored it because you didn't want to face the truth. But you're not ignoring it anymore. And that's why you're changing. That's why you feel different. That's why certain things don't taste the same. That's why your spirit gets quiet around what used to excite you. That's why your appetite for drama is disappearing. You are not losing yourself. You are finding yourself. And when you find yourself, you stop bargaining for what you deserve. You stop negotiating your worth. You stop calling crumbs a feast. You stop calling inconsistency a connection. You stop calling chaos passion. You stop calling pain love. You begin to want real. You begin to want steady. You begin to want a life you don't need to escape from. I am building that life with you. But you must participate. You must stop entertaining the invitation to return. Because returning doesn't just reopen a chapter. It reactivates an identity. It pulls you back into an old version of you that made decisions from fear, not faith. And you are not that person anymore. That's why it feels uncomfortable when you consider going back. Your spirit is rejecting what your flesh is craving. Your growth is resisting what your mind is romanticizing. Your future is fighting your past for control. Choose your future, even if your hands shake while choosing it. Even if your voice trembles while choosing it. Even if you cry while choosing it. Crying does not mean you're weak. Crying means you're human and still moving. Now listen, because this part is important. There are seasons when I will allow a familiar temptation to come near you again, not to trap you, but to test what you've learned. Not to punish you, but to reveal your growth. Not to scare you, but to prove to you that you are not who you used to be. And when it shows up, it will not look like danger. It will look like an opportunity. It will look like a check-in. It will look like an innocent conversation. It will look like, I miss you. It will look like, I've changed. It will look like, let's talk. And you will feel that old pull, that old chemistry, that old rush, that old curiosity. But I need you to be wise enough to ask one question before you respond. Not, do I miss them? Not, do they want me? Not, can this work? Ask, does this align with who I'm becoming? Because your life is not built by what you feel in a moment. Your life is built by what you choose consistently. One choice doesn't define you, but repeated choices create a direction, and direction determines your destination. So when you feel the pull, slow down, breathe, pray, and remember what it cost you the last time. Remember the sleepless nights. Remember the anxiety. Remember the self-doubt. Remember how small you felt. Remember how you lost focus. Remember how you stopped loving yourself. Remember how you said, never again. I was there when you said it, and I heard you. Some of you need to hear me say this gently. You don't have to keep proving you're strong by enduring what breaks you. Strength is not staying. Strength is leaving when it's time to leave. Strength is closing the door and not reopening it when it knocks. Strength is choosing peace over history. Strength is choosing growth over familiarity. Strength is choosing the harder right over the easier wrong. And I have already placed that strength inside you. Now let me speak to the part of you that keeps wondering why you had to go through it at all. You've asked me, God, why did you let me love someone who hurt me? Why did you let me walk into something that ended in pain? Why did you allow the disappointment? My child, I didn't send the pain, but I will use it. I will use it to sharpen you. I will use it to mature you. I will use it to build your discernment so you stop confusing words with character. I will use it to teach you that consistency is a form of love. I will use it to teach you that peace is a green flag. I will use it to teach you that your intuition is not something to silence. I will use it to show you that the red flags you ignored were not small issues. They were warnings. And now you're learning to listen. You're learning to pause. You're learning to ask better questions. You're learning to move slower. You're learning to protect your heart, not because you're closed off, but because you're valuable. Now, let's talk about your money again, because some of you think spiritual growth has nothing to do with your finances, but that's not true. When you stop going back emotionally, you stop spending to numb yourself. You stop impulse buying to fill emptiness. You stop chasing quick dopamine with expensive distractions. You start making decisions from clarity instead of stress. You start paying attention. You start budgeting. You start planning. You start learning. You start building. And yes, some of you are going to make wise moves like consolidating credit card debt, improving your credit score, exploring a personal loan with a lower interest rate, looking into mortgage refinance options, starting a high-income skill, enrolling in an online degree, or finally getting serious about investing. Not because money is your god, but because stewardship is part of your growth. Because I don't just want you inspired. I want you equipped. I don't just want you emotional. I want you disciplined. I don't just want you surviving. I want you building. And when you build, you stop wasting energy on what drains you. You stop giving time to what doesn't pay you back in peace. You stop funding other people's chaos with your resources. You stop financing your own delays. You start honoring your future self. You start preparing. You start doing the boring things that create a stable life. You start saying no to what feels good now, so you can say yes to what changes everything later. That's maturity. That's elevation. That's you stepping into the person you prayed to become. Some of you are also being called to a higher level of physical discipline. Not obsession, not perfection, but consistency. Because your body has been carrying stress for too long. Your health has been taking the hits while you tried to keep everyone else okay. But now I'm calling you to take care of you, to sleep, to hydrate, to move your body, to get sunlight, to stop ignoring symptoms you keep minimizing, to schedule the appointment, to take care of the temple you live in, not because you're trying to earn love, but because you're learning to honor what I gave you. And when you honor yourself, you stop returning to environments that poison you. Because you start noticing what your body has been trying to tell you. You start noticing how your chest tightens around certain people, how your stomach drops in certain conversations, how your shoulders tense when you're about to accept what you know you shouldn't. That's not random. That's your system recognizing danger based on experience. I'm teaching you to listen to it. I'm teaching you to trust the discomfort that warns you. I'm teaching you to stop overriding your own wisdom for the sake of being liked. Because being liked is cheap. Being respected is priceless. Being at peace is everything. Now hear me clearly, because this is where a lot of people get stuck. When you stop going back, there will be moments where it feels like nothing is happening. You'll look around and think, God, I obeyed, I let it go, I walked away. Where's the breakthrough? My child, the breakthrough is happening, but it's happening in ways you can't post. It's happening in your mind. It's happening in your habits. It's happening in the way you're responding instead of reacting. It's happening in the way you're choosing silence instead of arguing. It's happening in the way you're not begging anymore. It's happening in the way you're not chasing anymore. It's happening in the way you're learning to be still without feeling empty. And that kind of breakthrough is the kind that lasts. Because if I gave you everything you asked for without changing the foundation, you would build the same patterns in a prettier house. You would bring the same mindset into a better job. You would carry the same insecurity into a healthier relationship. You would turn blessing into burden because you weren't ready to hold it. So I'm not just changing your circumstances, I'm changing you. And you may feel like you're behind because the results aren't visible yet, but you're not behind. You're being fortified, you're being stabilized, you're being strengthened, you're being prepared to sustain what you're about to receive. That's why you can't rush this season. That's why you can't shortcut this process. That's why you can't numb yourself through it. Because what I'm building in you right now will become the very thing that keeps you from ever returning to what harmed you again. Some of you are in what feels like a wilderness season. It feels quiet. It feels slow. It feels like you're walking without landmarks. You're tempted to think you made a mistake because it would be easier to go back to the old noise than to sit in the silence of transformation. But listen to me. The wilderness is not punishment. The wilderness is training. In the wilderness, I teach you to hear my voice without distractions. In the wilderness, I teach you to trust provision that doesn't make sense. In the wilderness, I teach you that you can survive without what you once thought you needed. In the wilderness, I detox your appetite for toxic patterns. In the wilderness, I rebuild your identity. And when you come out of this season, you won't just be free, you'll be unrecognizable. Not to the people who loved the old you. Not to the habits that held you. Not to the cycles that trapped you. You will be unrecognizable to the version of you that once settled. And that is the point, because the enemy can only pull you back if you still crave what you used to be. But when your identity changes, your cravings change. Your standards change, your boundaries change, your prayers change, your friendships change, your focus changes, and your life starts to match the upgrade. So when you feel the urge to go back, don't panic, don't shame yourself, don't spiral. Just recognize it, name it, and let it pass. An urge is not a command. A thought is not a prophecy. A feeling is not an instruction. You are allowed to feel it without following it. You are allowed to miss what was familiar without returning to it. You are allowed to grieve without reopening the door. You are allowed to remember without re-entering. That's maturity. That's healing. That's strength. And if you need a moment of agreement right now, comment 777 because you are not doing this alone. You are surrounded by people who are choosing the same kind of freedom, the kind that doesn't just change a week, but changes a life. Now, let me speak to your purpose, because some of you don't realize how connected your purpose is to your ability to stop revisiting what I delivered you from. Purpose requires focus. Purpose requires energy. Purpose requires consistency. And your purpose cannot thrive in an environment where you are constantly putting out emotional fires. There are assignments waiting for you. There are ideas waiting for you. There are talents in you that have been buried under survival mode. There are gifts in you that have been muted by trauma. There are goals you keep delaying because you've been spending your best energy on people who treat your presence like a convenience. But that is ending. You are reclaiming your energy. You are reclaiming your attention. You are reclaiming your time. And when you reclaim those things, you start creating again. You start learning again. You start dreaming again. You start building again. You start waking up with direction instead of dread. And one day soon, you're going to realize something quietly powerful. You're going to realize you haven't thought about them in days. You're going to realize the urge isn't as strong. You're going to realize you don't need the explanation anymore. You're going to realize you don't crave the chaos. You're going to realize you can breathe again. And when that day comes, you will know it was me. You will know I was healing you in the hidden places. You will know I was strengthening you when you felt weak. You will know I was carrying you when you thought you were crawling alone. And that realization is going to unlock a new level of confidence in you, because you will finally understand that the same God who rescued you is the same God who can keep you free. And you are going to stay free, not because you're perfect, but because you're awake now, because you see now, because you discern now, because you've learned the cost, because you value peace, because you value clarity, because you value yourself, and because you finally believe me when I say you were made for more. So don't rush to fill the quiet with noise. Don't rush to fill the gap with a distraction. Don't rush to replace what I removed. Let the empty space do its work, because the space is where I speak. The space is where I heal. The space is where I rebuild. The space is where I realign you with what you actually want, not what you settled for. And in that space, I'm going to start giving you specific instructions, small ones, simple ones, practical ones, things like clean your room, delete the number, stop checking their page, go for a walk, apply for the job, finish the course, call your mother, write the plan, save the money, stop drinking that, start waking up earlier, get back in church, open the Bible, pray for real. Because big breakthroughs are built on small obediences, and small obediences create massive momentum. And momentum, my child, is what will carry you into a life where returning doesn't even feel like an option anymore. Because you'll be too busy living the life you used to beg me for. Too grounded, too clear, too stable, too focused, too blessed, too protected, too whole. And soon, you'll start noticing a different kind of attraction in your life. Not the attraction that comes from chemistry and confusion, but the attraction that comes from alignment. You'll start meeting people who respect your boundaries. You'll start finding mentors who pour into you. You'll start encountering environments that feel like growth. You'll start receiving opportunities that match your effort. And you'll realize that your obedience wasn't costing you. It was positioning you for favor you didn't have to manipulate, positioning you for love you didn't have to beg for, positioning you for peace that doesn't disappear after a good day, positioning you for a future that feels like breathing, positioning you for the kind of life where you can finally say, I'm safe, as opposed. And that safety is going to do something deep in you. It's going to soften what trauma hardened. It's going to heal what betrayal bruised. It's going to restore what disappointment stole. It's going to return your ability to trust yourself again, because that's the part you've been grieving quietly. Not just what happened to you, but the way you stopped trusting your own judgment, the way you second-guessed yourself, the way you blamed yourself for what someone else chose to do, the way you kept replaying it, thinking if you could understand it enough, it wouldn't hurt anymore. But you don't heal by understanding everything. You heal by releasing what you were never meant to carry. And I am helping you release it. So today, even if you feel the pull, you choose the path forward. Even if you feel lonely, you choose the path forward. Even if you don't have all the answers, you choose the path forward. Because forward is where your life is. Forward is where your joy is. Forward is where your provision is. Forward is where your peace is. Forward is where your purpose is. Forward is where I am leading you, and you are not lost. You are being led. You are being guided. You are being refined. You are being prepared. And there is a moment coming where everything you've been practicing in private will start showing in public. People will notice the calm in your voice. People will notice the glow in your eyes. People will notice the way you don't chase anymore. People will notice the way you walk away without explaining. People will notice the way you don't fold under pressure. People will notice the way you move with quiet confidence. And some will celebrate you. And some will try to test you. They'll send the message. They'll drop the breadcrumb. They'll invite you back into the old dynamic. They'll call it catching up. They'll call it being mature. They'll call it closure. But you will call it what it is, a distraction from your destiny. And you will keep walking. And as you walk, you're going to feel something shift that you can't fully explain. It will feel like weight coming off your shoulders without anyone touching you, like a tight room finally opening a window, like your lungs remembering how to breathe again. That's not coincidence. That's what happens when you stop feeding what used to feed on you. Because some doors don't slam loudly, some doors close quietly. And the proof they're closed is not the noise, it's the peace that follows. But listen closely, my child, because the next level of your freedom won't be fought only in big moments. It will be fought in small, private choices when nobody is clapping for you. Choices like what you allow into your eyes. Choices like what you replay in your head. Choices like what you entertain in your inbox. Choices like what you laugh at that you used to cry about. Choices like whether you keep a boundary when you're tired and lonely and it would be easier to compromise. That's where maturity is built. Not when you feel powerful, but when you feel tempted and you still choose wisely. Some of you have been waiting for the temptation to disappear before you move forward. But that's not how this works. You don't wait for the storm to stop to build. You build in the rain. You don't wait for fear to leave to act. You act while fear is still talking. Because fear will talk forever if you keep giving it a microphone. So today, you stop asking, why do I still feel this? And you start declaring, feelings don't lead me. Faith does. Now hear me. There are certain things you keep calling memories, but they are actually hooks. They were designed to pull you backward the moment you start gaining traction. They show up when you're about to focus. They show up when you're about to be consistent. They show up right when you're about to level up. And they come with a voice that sounds gentle. Just check one more time. Just respond so you don't seem rude. Just see if they changed. Just hear them out. Just one conversation. Just one visit. Just one night. Just one compromise. And then it turns into a cycle. But I am giving you a new skill. The skill of holy indifference. Not coldness, not bitterness, not hatred, just clarity. Clarity that says, I'm not available for what I survived. Clarity that says, I don't need to revisit that to prove I'm healed. Clarity that says, I don't owe access to anyone who mishandled me. Clarity that says, my peace is my proof. And this is where your power returns. Because the moment you stop explaining yourself to people who benefit from misunderstanding you, you start conserving your energy. You stop leaking strength. You stop bleeding attention. You stop donating your focus to people who keep you emotionally exhausted. And you need that focus, because I'm shifting you into a season where your focus becomes your currency. In the next season, distractions will be expensive. One bad decision can cost you a connection. One impulsive reaction can cost you a contract. One emotional relapse can cost you months of progress. Not because I'm trying to scare you, but because I'm elevating you. And elevation comes with stewardship. So I'm teaching you to move like someone who has something to protect, because you do. You have a future to protect. You have a name to protect. You have a mind to protect. You have a calling to protect. You have momentum to protect. You have a harvest on the way, and I will not let you sabotage it with a snack from your past. Some of you keep wanting a sign that you're doing the right thing. Let me give you one that you can feel. When you do the wrong thing now, it doesn't even feel good like it used to. It tastes different. It lands heavy. It feels forced. That is not you losing your spark. That is your discernment waking up. That is your spirit refusing to enjoy what used to poison it. That is growth. And it's uncomfortable because growth changes your appetite. You're craving different conversations now. You're craving different environments now. You're craving stability. You're craving respect. You're craving consistency. You're craving a life that doesn't come with emotional hangovers. And that craving is not weakness. That craving is your new standard being installed. Now, I need you to stop doing this one thing. Stop confusing accountability with condemnation. When you feel conviction, it's not me trying to shame you. It's me trying to steer you. Conviction is a compass. Shame is a cage. I don't put you in cages. I set you free. So if you've slipped before, if you've gone back before, if you've answered the call before, if you've reopened the door before, hear me. I'm not here to throw your past in your face. I'm here to put your future in your hands. And you still have time to choose again, because one of the strongest things you can do is not pretend you didn't fall. It's to stand up faster. It's to learn quicker. It's to recover with wisdom. It's to stop making the same mistake look like a personality trait. You're not destined to repeat cycles. You're destined to break them. Now let me speak to the part of you that feels bored without drama. Some of you were raised in environments where chaos was normal, so your brain learned to equate peace with danger. When things get calm, you start scanning for what's wrong. When people treat you well, you wonder when the switch will flip. When life gets quiet, you feel uneasy, because your body is used to adrenaline. But calm is not a trap. Calm is a gift. Calm is what your body has been begging for. Calm is what your mind needs to create. Calm is what your spirit needs to hear my voice clearly. So don't sabotage calm just because it feels unfamiliar. Let calm teach you who you are without survival mode. Let calm expose your real desires. Let calm rebuild your nervous system. Let calm become your normal. Because in your next season, you're going to need calm to make smart decisions. You're going to need calm to read contracts carefully. You're going to need calm to negotiate. You're going to need calm to manage a team. You're going to need calm to lead your family. You're going to need calm to build wealth with discipline, not with impulsiveness. And yes, I said wealth, because some of you keep acting like it's more spiritual to struggle. But I did not create you just to survive paycheck to paycheck. I created you to be a blessing, to have enough to give, enough to invest, enough to breathe. But wealth without wisdom becomes a trap. So I'm building wisdom first. And wisdom often starts with one word: no. No to distractions. No to late-night conversations that open doors you closed. No to the cycle of checking up on what you left behind. No to emotional shopping. No to spending money to soothe anxiety. No to decisions that lower your credit score and raise your stress. No to environments that trigger you. No to people who only want access to you when they need something. No to jobs that crush your spirit while promising security. No to anything that costs you your peace. Because peace is not a luxury. Peace is a strategy. Peace is how you hear instruction. Peace is how you recognize alignment. Peace is how you avoid traps. Peace is how you stay in position. And position is everything. Some of you don't realize how close you are to a major shift because it doesn't look like fireworks. It looks like focus. It looks like routine. It looks like quiet mornings. It looks like planning. It looks like taking notes. It looks like saving money. It looks like learning a skill. It looks like applying again after being rejected. It looks like showing up again after being embarrassed. It looks like consistency in the unseen. That's why people won't understand your process. They'll think you're doing too much. They'll think you're being distant. They'll think you're acting brand new. But they don't know what I told you. They don't know what I'm building in you. They don't know the doors I'm about to open that require you to be ready. So let them misunderstand. You don't need everyone to understand you. You need to stay aligned. Now let me address another thing. Some of you keep saying, I'm just being kind, but you're actually being accessible. And access is not kindness when it costs you your health. Access is not kindness when it drains your spirit. Access is not kindness when it delays your purpose. Kindness can have boundaries. Kindness can say no. Kindness can stop answering. Kindness can walk away. Kindness can forgive without re-entering. Because your assignment is not to be everyone's emergency contact. Your assignment is to steward the life I gave you. And you can't steward your life while your attention is constantly being hijacked. So here is a new pattern for you. When the old tries to reach you, you don't respond with emotion. You respond with structure. You respond with time. You respond with distance. You respond with prayer. You respond with patience. You respond with silence if silence is what protects you. Because silence is not weakness. Silence is discipline. And discipline is what separates a temporary change from a permanent transformation. Now listen, there's a reason you keep getting tempted at night. Night is when your guard is down. Night is when you're tired. Night is when you're alone with your thoughts. Night is when regret tries to make you romanticize what was toxic. Night is when your mind starts rewriting history. So I'm giving you a night strategy. Before you sleep, feed your spirit, not your cravings. Before you sleep, shut the door on wandering thoughts. Before you sleep, stop scrolling through other people's lives. Before you sleep, stop checking pages that trigger you. Before you sleep, stop making decisions from exhaustion. Because exhaustion makes you impulsive. Exhaustion makes you sentimental. Exhaustion makes you vulnerable. And vulnerability without wisdom becomes a doorway. So protect your nights. Protect your mornings too. Because mornings are where momentum is built. If you start your day in confusion, you will spend the day chasing clarity. If you start your day in peace, you will move with intention. So when you wake up, don't run to your phone. Don't run to the past. Don't run to old messages. Run to me, even if it's 1 minute. Even if it's a simple prayer. Even if all you say is, God, lead me today. That prayer is a shield. That prayer is alignment. That prayer is an invitation for wisdom. And wisdom will save you from decisions that look small but have big consequences. Now let me speak to your identity, because this is the real battlefield. The reason you keep wanting to go back is not always because you miss them. Sometimes you miss the version of you that existed before the heartbreak, the version of you that was more innocent, the version of you that believed easily, the version of you that didn't overthink. But hear me, my child. You're not going to become that version again. You're going to become someone better, someone wiser, someone steadier, someone who loves deeply but doesn't lose themselves, someone who trusts but doesn't ignore red flags, someone who gives but doesn't get drained, someone who can sit in silence and not feel abandoned, someone who can be alone and still feel full. That's the upgrade. You're not going back to innocence. You're going forward into wisdom, and wisdom is what protects your joy. Now, I want to speak about timing, because some of you are frustrated with how long healing takes. You thought you'd be over it by now. You thought you wouldn't care by now. You thought you wouldn't feel anything when you hear their name. But healing is not a straight line. Healing is layers. Healing is seasons. One day you'll feel strong. The next day you'll feel nostalgic. That doesn't mean you're failing. That means you're human. So don't punish yourself for having a moment. A moment is not a mandate. A wave is not a surrender. Let the wave pass. Then keep walking. Because every time you keep walking, you train your mind. You train your body. You train your spirit. You teach yourself a new response. You build a new pathway. And eventually, what used to pull you becomes something you barely notice. That's how freedom becomes real. Not when you declare it once, but when you practice it daily. Now, let me say something that might surprise you. Some of you have been asking me to remove certain people, but I didn't remove them because I wanted you to learn how to choose. Because if I remove everyone, you might think you're safe without learning discernment. But discernment is what keeps you safe long term. So I allowed you to see who they are. I allowed you to witness patterns. I allowed you to feel the difference between words and actions. I allowed you to experience what inconsistency does to your spirit. So now you don't need me to remove them. You can remove yourself. You can choose differently. And that choice is power. That choice is maturity. That choice is you stepping into authority over your own life. And once you step into that authority, you stop feeling like life is happening to you. You start moving like you're building something, because you are. You're building a new life. You're building new habits. You're building a new circle. You're building a new mindset. You're building a new future. And builders don't keep going back to abandoned buildings and calling them home. Builders move forward. Builders lay foundations. Builders plan. Builders measure twice and cut once. Builders don't waste materials. Builders don't keep giving resources to projects that keep collapsing. So stop investing your attention in things that don't grow. Stop investing your time in people who don't honor it. Stop investing your heart where it's not protected. Stop investing your money where it disappears and leaves you stressed. Because yes, for some of you, going back isn't a person. It's an old financial pattern. It's the habit of spending to cope. It's the habit of avoiding statements. It's the habit of ignoring interest rates until they crush you. It's the habit of staying uneducated about money because it feels overwhelming. But I am giving you courage to face it now, to check your credit report, to learn the basics of investing, to build an emergency fund, to explore high-yield savings, to stop living in financial denial, to choose wisdom over embarrassment, because embarrassment fades, but discipline pays you back. Discipline pays you back with options. Options to move, options to leave, options to help your family, options to say no to toxic jobs, options to say yes to purpose. And options are powerful. Now hear me, because I'm not just trying to keep you from going back. I'm trying to teach you how to recognize when something is sent to delay you. Delays don't always show up as disasters. Sometimes they show up as distractions that feel like comfort. A situationship that eats your time. A friendship that turns into gossip. A habit that steals your mornings. A pattern of procrastination. A constant need to be entertained. A refusal to sit with your own thoughts. Those things feel small, but they build a life. And if you build your life on distractions, you will wake up one day and realize you're exhausted and still not where you want to be. So I'm giving you a new filter. Before you say yes, ask, does this move me forward? Before you respond, ask, Does this protect my peace? Before you commit, ask, does this align with the life I'm building? Before you go back, ask, what did it cost me last time? And don't answer those questions emotionally. Answer them honestly, because honesty is the beginning of wisdom. Now, there's another reason I'm telling you not to go back, because I'm about to restore your voice. Some of you have been quiet for too long. You've been shrinking. You've been dimming yourself to avoid conflict. You've been editing your feelings so you don't trigger someone else's immaturity. But I'm restoring your voice. Not a voice that argues, a voice that stands. A voice that speaks truth without fear. A voice that doesn't apologize for having standards. A voice that says, this is what I need. A voice that says, this is what I will not accept. A voice that says, I'm not available for confusion. A voice that says, I'm choosing peace. And when your voice comes back, you will realize how much of your life was spent swallowing what you should have said. But you won't live like that anymore, because you're not going back. Now, if you feel this message strengthening you again, comment 777 and let it be your commitment that you're not only walking away from the past, you're walking towards structure, stability, and a future you can actually sustain. Because the next season is not about hype, it's about foundations. It's about building the kind of life that doesn't crumble when emotions fluctuate. It's about becoming consistent, not just inspired. It's about becoming the person who finishes what they start. And you are becoming that person. So when the old comes around with a smile, you don't panic. You don't get flattered. You don't get pulled. You simply recognize it, and you keep walking. Because you're learning that what's meant for you won't require you to betray yourself. What's meant for you won't demand you abandon your healing. What's meant for you won't come with confusion disguised as excitement. What's meant for you will feel like clarity. It will feel like safety. It will feel like steady ground. It will feel like a deep exhale. And you are closer to that life than you think. Even now, as you keep walking, I'm rearranging things you can't see. I'm redirecting people's decisions. I'm exposing what's hidden. I'm closing loopholes. I'm removing counterfeit connections. I'm preparing divine appointments. I'm setting up conversations that will change your direction. I'm aligning you with resources, with mentors, with opportunities, with answers. And you'll know it's me, because it won't feel forced. It won't feel confusing. It won't feel like you have to chase. It will feel like doors opening at the right time. And when those doors open, you'll be grateful you didn't waste your energy looking backward, because looking backward steals speed. And speed matters when you're in a season of acceleration. So don't slow down for what didn't value you. Don't pause your future to revisit a past that already proved its limits. Don't stop your momentum for someone who only remembers you when they're lonely. Don't trade your calling for comfort. Keep walking, keep building, keep choosing peace, keep choosing wisdom, keep choosing the future I prepared for you. And now, my child, I want you to make this personal, not motivational for 5 minutes, not emotional for one night, personal, permanent, the kind of decision that changes the way you move when nobody's watching. Because there will be a moment after this video ends when your phone goes quiet, when the room gets still, and the old thoughts try to creep back in. The enemy will whisper, "That was a nice message," but you'll still go back. He will try to convince you that your patterns are stronger than your promises. He will try to make you believe your history has more authority than my word. But hear me right now. Your past does not own you. I rescued you. I restored you. I protected you. And I am not raising you up just to watch you shrink again. I did not teach you to swim so you could return to drowning waters. I am giving you a new mindset, a new standard, and a new backbone. And when you feel the pull, you will not collapse into it. You will stand over it. Because you're not the same person. You're not the same mind. You're not the same spirit. You're not the same heart. And you don't need to prove that you've changed by going back and handling it better. You prove you've changed by refusing to re-enter what used to consume you. You prove you've changed by choosing peace without needing an audience. You prove you've changed by protecting your future like it matters. So here is what I want you to do next. I want you to stop bargaining with your boundaries. Stop saying, I'll keep the door cracked just in case. Stop saying, I'll stay friends just to be mature. Stop saying, I'll answer one more time. Stop saying, I'll check one more time. It doors. You already know what one more time leads to. You've lived that movie. You've cried at that ending. You've promised yourself you'd never go through it again. So don't rehearse pain and call it closure. Closure is not a conversation when the pattern is still the pattern. Closure is a decision, and today, you decide. You decide that your peace is worth more than a temporary rush. You decide that your healing is worth more than a familiar voice. You decide that your future is worth more than a recycled apology. You decide that you will not trade your destiny for attention. Because attention is cheap, but peace is priceless. Now listen, my child, because I'm going to speak life over you. Not soft life, not fragile life, strong life. The kind of life that makes you steady even when your emotions fluctuate. I speak clarity over your mind. I speak stability over your heart. I speak strength over your spine. I speak wisdom over your choices. I speak discipline over your days. I speak courage over your nights. I speak protection over your home. I speak favor over your work. I speak acceleration over the goals you've been trying to reach. I speak healing over what you don't talk about. I speak restoration over what betrayal tried to damage. I speak peace into every corner of your life that has been loud, and I declare that the next season will not be another cycle. It will be a new chapter. A chapter where you don't chase. A chapter where you don't beg. A chapter where you don't settle. A chapter where you don't return to what I already delivered you from. Because I am giving you the ability to recognize traps quickly. I am giving you the ability to walk away without explaining. I am giving you the ability to love yourself without guilt. I am giving you the ability to say no without fear. I am giving you the ability to build a life with structure and strategy, not just hope and emotion. And yes, my child, I am going to bless the work of your hands. I am going to give you ideas that increase your income. I am going to open doors for career growth that don't require you to compromise your values. I am going to connect you to resources that help you manage your finances with wisdom. I am going to teach you stewardship so your money stops disappearing into stress and starts turning into stability. You will learn to make decisions that raise your peace and strengthen your future. You will learn to manage your credit like a tool, not a burden. You will learn to pursue financial freedom with patience, not panic. You will learn to invest your time where it multiplies. You will learn to stop giving your best energy to people and habits that don't pay you back in peace. And you will look back and realize you didn't just get over it. You outgrew it. Now, I'm going to warn you with love. When you stop going back, some people will try harder to pull you in, not because they suddenly value you, but because they feel the loss of control. They will test your boundaries. They will act confused. They will play the victim. They will bring up old memories. They will try to trigger your compassion so you abandon your wisdom. But compassion without boundaries becomes self-destruction. So you will stay steady, you will stay calm, you will stay clear, you will let your no be no, you will let your silence be protection, you will let your distance be healing, and you will not feel guilty for choosing peace. Because guilt is not your assignment, freedom is. And if you need a simple agreement right now, comment 777. Let it be your declaration that you're done with going back, done with reopening doors, done with compromising, done with living in circles. 777 is your line in the sand, your new standard, your new direction. Now, before we end, I want you to remember this. You don't need everyone to clap for you to be changing. You don't need everyone to understand you to be aligned. You don't need everyone to approve of you to be obedient. This season is between you and me. And the people who are meant to walk with you in the next chapter will recognize your growth as beautiful, not threatening. They will honor your boundaries. They will respect your pace. They will value your presence. They will add to your peace, not subtract from it. They will not make you question your worth. They will not make you shrink. They will not make you chase. They will meet you in the middle with consistency. Because what is from me does not come with confusion. It comes with peace. So when you feel tempted again, don't panic. Just pause. Put your hand on your chest. Breathe and tell yourself the truth. I was rescued. I was healed. I am protected. I am being led. I am not going back. And then you move on with your day, like someone who knows they're building something. Because you are. You are building habits that will carry you. You are building routines that will stabilize you. You are building discipline that will protect you. You are building a future that will thank you. You are building a life that feels like peace. And the best part is, you're not building alone. I am with you. In every decision, in every moment you want to fold. In every night you want to text what you released. In every morning you want to give up. I am there, strengthening you, guiding you, steadying you. So here's what I want you to do right now. While this message is still fresh, hit like on this video if you're choosing forward. Let that be your small act of agreement. And if you want more messages that keep you focused, grounded, and strong, subscribe to this channel. Because you're not meant to fight this battle in silence, and you're not meant to walk this out without reminders of truth. My child, you are not behind. You are being prepared. You are not forgotten. You are being protected. You are not weak. You are being strengthened. You are not stuck. You are being redirected. And the reason this message found you today is because you were about to make a decision that could have pulled you backward, and I love you too much to let you drift into what I already pulled you out of. So stay forward, stay focused, stay faithful. Do not go back, because what's ahead of you is not just better, it's different, it's clean, it's steady, it's safe, and it is mine for you. Walk in peace. Walk in wisdom, walk in power, and watch what happens when you finally stop going back.